Welcome, my name is Matt, this is Hidden Light. Today we are going to do an experiment. I want to showcase the sort of levels of contrast that I will typically expect or that I will employ in making platinum prints. So we're going to start with basically a pure palladium print, and then we are going to add the contents of this beautiful wrapping, fresh from Bostic & Sullivan, which is Na2, which is like sort of the preferred method for adding contrast to platinum prints. Sodium platinum solution Na2, sodium hexachloral platinate 4, which is a 5% solution. We're gonna do it on 8x10s because I feel like that's what most of regular people print, and also so that I don't have to like blow through a bunch of money in chemistry. So what we're going to do is take the same image, which I haven't chosen yet, and make several different copies of it, and we're just going to increase contrast as we go to see what that looks like. Should be interesting. We'll start with very low contrast, like the default for pure palladium is so low contrast it's unreal, and then go from there and see how much snap we can get into our platinum palladium prints. This is going to be an all-day sort of exercise that we will sort of compress into a regular video. So without any further ado, let's see if we can find an image. I've shot lots of pictures this year, so let's see. But if I'm gonna make some 8x10s, I know this guy and he knows this guy, and I could give them the two least shitty copies of this. Okay, so we're gonna do escalating levels of the Na2. We're gonna start with a pure palladium print. This is a reasonably small image, so I'm gonna fit this on 8x10 paper. We're gonna use the same negative, the same exposure times, all of that, and kind of work our way through this and see how it feels. So I'm gonna do 10 drops each of ferric oxalate and palladium, and then we'll increase in 2 drop increments of Na2. This is supposed to be like kind of a lot, and so we're gonna go kind of far with this and just go until it gets a little ridiculous. So the negative is printing right now. We're gonna do our little bulb warm up, and while that's happening, I'll start mixing the emulsion because why not? So I'll just turn on the old table and let's mix some chemistry. So this is gonna be pure palladium with 0 Na2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so now we're doing 2. not bad, actually. The results are more or less what I expected, which is amazing. We used the same negative, the same developer, the same exposure time, the same. Everything. All I changed was changing the amount of Na2 that was used. So we have a pure palladium print, no Na2. We have 2 drops of Na2, 4 drops, and 6 drops. My goal with this was to go too far, and I succeeded. This pure palladium print is pretty much what I expect from the platinum palladium process 90% of the time. It's kind of flat, but it's incredibly detailed, and the tonal shifts are very smooth. So we'll put some close-up clips in here for you, but like the detail around the headlight, in pure palladium, you can see the shape of the headlight itself. But as soon as we start adding Na2 and it holds those highlights back, you can't see the shape anymore. Now it still works when you've got a little bit of snap in it. The headlight, the shape is sort of implied. It's still kind of small. You can see the shape of the handlebars through it. But as I continue to add Na2, you lose the handlebars. You got no idea where the headlight is. You start losing some of these other also midtones that really ought to be separate tones. Skin tones start to do weird things. Like it's definitely getting screwed up looking. That was the point. So if I had to do a production run of this image, which I'm probably going to do because I'm going to give prints to both of these dudes, I'm going to do them at 2 drops of Na2 per 10 drops of ferric oxalate palladium mix. So I used 10 ferric oxalate, 10 palladium, 2 drops Na2 seems to me to be the sweet spot. I'm getting a better black, like this black here is better than this black by a fair bit. My highlights haven't totally exploded. I feel really good about the way that this looks. That's kind of like a great place to be, unless you specifically want the lowest contrast image possible, at which point, like, yeah, sure. Just omit the Na2 and don't worry about it. The great thing about this is the Na2 is not particularly expensive and I'm not using very much of it. We are using the 5% solution, which is the slightly more expensive whatever solution, but 2 drops is nothing. So I'm really pleased with how this experiment turned out. I'm gonna make a couple more of these, send them to the boys. I don't know. Interesting to show what Na2 does to a pure palladium print. Ceteris paribus, that is to say all things are equal. I could give myself more contrast by using fresh developer for every print. I didn't do that. We could do this experiment again and do fresh developer and see what that looks like, but that's like a wasted good developer. This stuff's fine. So, yeah. Questions, comments, concerns, put those in the comment section down below. And thanks for joining me for a weird experiment that I've been curious about. See you in the next one.